All we've managed to do is make more popular a policy that wasn't very popular when we started trying to get rid of it.
The Senate votes to move forward with a bill to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
I'd like to call it a transportation justice issue. I mean, who is walking and cycling? Younger people, people that are too poor to own cars.
Making cycling count. One county agency moves forward on plans to fix problems with their bike monitoring system. And the beloved Carousel in Balboa Park is here to stay. How a San Diego nonprofit plans to restore and maintain the historic landmark. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. The U.S. Senate has voted to move forward with a bill to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Arizona Senator John McCain returned to Washington to vote yes, but he says he only did it so the bill could be debated and amended, with input from both sides of the aisle. He says senators have to reach across party lines because otherwise they're not getting anything done.
All we've managed to do is make more popular a policy that wasn't very popular when we started trying to get rid of it. I voted for the motion to proceed to allow debate to continue and amendments to be offered. I will not vote for this bill as it is today. It's a shell of a bill right now. We all know that.
President Trump praised McCain and the Senate for today's vote. He also criticized Democrats for voting no.
Now we move forward towards truly great health care for the American people. We look forward to that. This was a big step. I want to thank Senator John McCain, very brave man. He made a tough trip to get here and vote. So we want to thank Senator McCain and all of the Republicans. We passed it without one Democrat vote. And that's a shame, but that's the way it is. And it's very unfortunate.
Again, today's vote opens up debate on the bill, and it could go through many changes. Democrats say they found sections they can block because it violates Senate rules. If the Senate passes a final version, that would have to go back to the House for yet another vote. California's top insurance official says today's vote is a terrible decision for everyone in the state. Dave Jones says if the bill advances, 5 million Californians would lose their coverage, and the state would lose billions in federal assistance.
We don't have a magic wand here to fix all that in California. We're looking at something on the order of $30 billion or so in federal assistance to Californians going away over time. There isn't $30 billion lying around in the state budget to backfill the kind of cuts that are a part of this repeal.
Both of California's senators voted against the bill. The San Diego City Council declined a chance today to take action to push by the council's Democrats to declare Qualcomm Stadium surplus property. That designation could clear the way to sell land to another public entity. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The City Council voted to send the Qualcomm Stadium surplus property issue and a broader discussion about the future of the site to the Land Use Committee. The city attorney offered council members basically three options: no action, forwarding a request to the mayor for a determination about what that site will be used for in the future, or sending the issue to committee. Now, the council chose both options 2 and 3. Democrat David Alvarez called it an important step in what should be a transparent process.
This is intended to be an ongoing public, transparent discussion about what could happen, and that's the intent here.
Several council members expressed the desire to have an alternative plan ready if the SoccerCity initiative fails at the ballot box. The council has already approved that ballot measure, which will let voters decide if FS investors should redevelop the site as part of their effort to bring Major League Soccer to San Diego. They want to build housing, commercial space, a river park, and a multi-sport stadium in the valley. FS Investors' Nick Stone says the surplus land designation could have made the initiative, a moot issue.
It would strip out from underneath the initiative the land, right, thereby fundamentally altering the premise of the initiative. What is very telling about it is that that effort would even be tried. Very clearly, the people behind me, the 100,000 plus San Diegans who signed the petition, said we have a real use for that land.
San Diego State University officials were also at the meeting today to urge the council to approve the surplus property designation. They say they've reopened talks with the mayor's office and hope to present an alternative redevelopment plan for the Qualcomm Stadium site. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
New research on the brains of former football players shows evidence of brain disease in nearly all of them, from athletes in the NFL down to high school level players. This is the latest update to the study on CTE, the degenerative disease linked to repeated concussions. The study looked at more than 200 donated brains.
A brain bank donation study is skewed. It has an ascertainment bias. But even considering that, the fact that we were able to accumulate 177 cases of CTE in a relatively short time frame speaks volumes. It says that this disease is not rare. In fact, 80-some% of the brains came in because of family members concerned about their loved ones. That says this disease is out there, this is a problem in football, and this is something we need to address as soon as possible.
San Diego Hall of Famer Junior Seau was not part of this study. It was determined after he died that he suffered from CTE. He killed himself in 2012. The disease can cause depression, memory loss, and behavior changes. More than $500,000 was raised in a single day to support a popular fact-checking website based in San Diego. KPBS tech reporter David Wagner has more on why the co-founder of Snopes.com is calling for financial support.
Snopes has been around for more than 20 years, debunking fake news long before fake news was a household term. But now, one of the site's founders says a lawsuit from a San Diego digital media company threatens its future. Snopes had partnered with Proper Media on development of the site, giving its directors 50% ownership. But the relationship went sour, and now Proper Media is suing Snopes co-founder David Mickelson, alleging that he conspired to seize control of the site. Mickelson has fired back, accusing Proper Media of holding Snopes and all of its advertising revenue hostage. Legal analyst and San Diego State University business ethics instructor Dan Eaton says this is a classic struggle for control over a company.
If this really goes the full distance, there are going to be an awful lot of resources that are devoted to this fight that could be better devoted to operations of Snopes.com, which everybody agrees is a very important website.
Yesterday, Mickelson put out a plea on a crowdfunding site asking for $500,000 to keep Snopes running during this legal battle. He exceeded that goal in a day. Proper Media's attorney emailed KPBS a statement saying Mickelson has engaged in gross mismanagement of Snopes and that his crowdfunding campaign shows he can't operate the site profitably without Proper Media's expertise and management. David Wagner, KPBS News.
San Diego City Councilman Mark Kersey may be running for state senate. The Republican has filed with the California Secretary of State to open a campaign committee. He's running in District 38, which covers much of East and North San Diego County. It's currently represented by Joel Anderson, who terms out next year. The district is solidly Republican. Kersey was reelected to the City Council last year. Yesterday, we brought you the story of San Diego's efforts to count bicycles and problems with the data collected by special bike counting cameras. Well, there's another way to count bikes using electromagnetic sensors installed under the pavement. County health officials purchased dozens of them 5 years ago. But KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen tells us some of the devices have been neglected and have fallen through the cracks of local government.
So we're here on 5th Avenue between Ivy and Juniper in Bankers Hill.
Chris Kluth is active transportation manager at SANDAG, the Regional Transportation Planning Agency.
A few years ago, the city converted one of the travel lanes here to a buffered bike lane, which is very nice. So there are two big buffers there.
Thanks to Sandag, the bike lane here on 5th Avenue is scheduled for another upgrade. Cyclists will soon have a physical barrier, like this one in St. Petersburg, Florida, protecting them from moving cars. Research shows this kind of bike lane, called a cycle track, does a much better job at attracting riders than just paint on the ground. The bike counter installed here, under these diamonds on the pavement, can help confirm that.
That is our goal in the long term, to be able to help us figure out, where projects should go, what kind of return did we get on, this kind of investment.
This is just one of 54 bike and pedestrian counters purchased by the County Health and Human Services Agency in 2012. They're installed throughout the county, from Imperial Beach to Oceanside. At the time, the system was praised as one of the biggest in the country, capable of giving public officials valuable data on how many people are biking and walking and where.
It's really interesting data, and just having a snapshot of this data in this format helps us to validate it. Because
Sherry Ryan is an SDSU professor and consultant who worked on the county's bike counter program.
So we had partial data in June and then July.
She's showing me some bar graphs on her computer with data from the devices.
You can see each of these humps is a summer month, and this represents 3 years of data. So we have these very consistent patterns across 3 years, which is a lot of data. And then we see in July 2016 the battery died.
Yes, the battery died. Several of the bike counters, shown here in a video from the vendor, have gone more than a year with dead batteries. How did that happen, you ask? Because no agency had budgeted for the counter's maintenance. The units were purchased by the county with grant money, one-time dollars.
What's called an in-pavement loop detector.
Ryan has done her best to keep the counters in working order over the years. But that's not really her job. She's a professor, not a transportation agency.
It pencils out to something like $100 a unit per year. It's not that much money. It's just there's no steady stream of funding identified for it.
So it should be a lot more accurate in the future.
Chris Kluth says Sandag has agreed to accept 10 of the units as gifts and to take over their maintenance.
For our 10, we want to make sure we're very confident in the data that we're getting from those. So there's a fair amount of work. Some of them will need to be reinstalled. Some will get some newer parts to put in there that are more durable.
Still, that leaves a few dozen more bike counters in need of adoption. Ryan says it's hard for one agency to take on extra costs when those costs originated somewhere else. But she says this data is really valuable.
I like to call it a transportation justice issue. I mean, who is walking and cycling? Younger people, people that are too poor to own cars, people who are trying to access transit. So they are kind of the forgotten modes, and unfortunately those travelers are in less safe environments.
Ryan says over the next few months, she'll be going city to city trying to convince their transportation officials to adopt the bike counters. And she's hoping each one of them can find a safe and loving home. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
The federal investigation continues into Russia's connection to last year's presidential election. NPR congressional correspondent Jeff Bennett wants to know, why are there so many investigations into Russia?
The multiple investigations are looking into different aspects of Russia's efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The most consequential investigation could be the one led by former FBI Director Robert Mueller. In May 2017, the Justice Department named Mueller as special counsel to investigate Moscow's interference in the 2016 election and whether Trump campaign associates collaborated with the Russian government to influence the outcome. Mueller has the power to press criminal charges, and his inquiry has reportedly expanded to include whether President Trump sought to obstruct a federal investigation and allegedly trying to curtail the FBI probe into ties between Russia and Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn. Now, it's important to note that a special counsel's work is done in private, so whatever Mueller's investigation discovers may never become public, unless Mueller decides to bring criminal charges. Even then, the information he releases would be specific to a criminal case. In addition to the special counsel probe, there are several going on in Congress. The most prominent are fact-finding investigations being conducted by the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. The Senate committee says it's looking at Russia's cyber activity during the 2016 election, potential connections between Trump associates and the Russian government, as well as the U.S. response to Russian interference and how similar attacks can be prevented in the future. The House Intelligence Committee's Russia investigation is similar in scope and is also focused on related leaks of classified information. Both intelligence committees are expected to produce detailed reports summing up their findings. Now, these congressional investigations are viewed as the public's best chance to learn how Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election and whether anyone connected to President Trump was involved. But that could take a while, since it could be a year or longer before any of these investigations comes to a close.
California firefighters are facing a perfect storm of conditions they say could make for an especially dangerous fire season. Cal Fire says thousands of acres of forest and grassland in the state are stock full of dead trees and brush from the long drought. And as it turns out, the wet winter has made conditions even more dangerous as dry grass is higher and more dense than normal.
All our grasses, brush, as well as trees have been growing very rapidly. You take your grass for an example. It has grown as tall as I am for that matter and very dense throughout the state this year. We haven't seen that for years. That is like the fuse to the fires.
Since January, more than 200,000 acres have been scorched by wildfires in the state. That's a 25% increase over the same time last year. Cal Fire reports that in the past day, 79 wildfires have been ignited in California by lightning strikes. Fire officials say too many other fires are started by people. Nearly 6,000 firefighters are currently hard at work battling wildfires across the state. Many of these fires, officials say, could have been avoided by simple safety precautions, like parking a hot car off dry grass or limiting outdoor work to early mornings or evenings.
95% of our wildland fires are human caused. That's not arson, just human caused by doing the right thing at the wrong time of day, for example, mowing, hitting a rock and causing a spark. Chains coming off, towing a trailer down the road. Just takes one spark right now, honestly, to start a wildland fire.
Californians who live in rural areas are advised to create a defensible space around their homes prior to fire season. Fire officials say brush and tree branches around homes should be trimmed to slow the spread of flames. Well, some spotty showers are rolling into San Diego. Aaron Calandra has more in tonight's forecast.
We are seeing a very active satellite and radar here. This is the last 6 hours, and look at all of this. We are seeing isolated showers, some thunderstorms in places. More severe here, Mount Laguna, inland than we are seeing along the coast. And for this evening, it's going to continue from, say, Ramona and Alpine to the east. That's where we could see some gusty winds and also some downpours. Could see some isolated flooding in places. So here's a bigger picture. Las Vegas is getting hammered with thunderstorms today. It is causing some flooding issues. The ground is so dry there, it's not really able to absorb all of this wet weather. For us, though, here, we could just see some spotty activity, which is pretty typical for this time of year. What's not typical is this temperature. 70 degrees, that's our low. We're normally in the low to mid 60s for our lows this time of year, so that's a bit warm for our overnight temperature. Increasing clouds, they'll remain there in the morning as usual, and then they're going to burn out. So for tonight in Oceanside, 68 degrees, San Diego 70, Poway 68 degrees, Ramona 64, and then inland here, Borrego Springs 77 and Mount Laguna 61, with fewer clouds inland than we're seeing there along the coast. Here's the big picture for Wednesday. The Four Corners, well, they are getting slammed with some pretty heavy thunderstorms, mainly in the evening hours. We're seeing all sorts of flash flooding, isolated flooding coming from those systems. There is a threat, too, for some wild wildfires with that lightning. So we're keeping our eye on that. Here we are tomorrow, Oceanside, 80 degrees for our temperature. San Diego, 78. Ramona, 90. Borrego Springs, we're still in the triple digits at 105, but it's going to be cooling down a bit. Not into the 90s, though, so we're going to stay in the triple digits. Mount Laguna, 78 degrees. Along the East Coast, well, the Northeast, we are just seeing thunderstorms and rain. It's pretty cool, too. In Boston, the highs are only in the 60s, so it certainly feels a lot like fall there. Here we are for our 5-day along the coast. We're right around 80 degrees with some sunshine. It's going to become a bit humid, though, for the weekend, so it's going to feel warmer than that. Inland, we are in the upper 80s and low 90s. In the mountains, expect those thunderstorms and showers, and same story for the deserts. We drop down to 100 degrees on Sunday. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
Africa Rocks is the San Diego Zoo's newest, biggest, and most expensive projects yet. It highlights 6 new animal habitats and rock formations unique to Africa. The African penguins are up first, with the other animal exhibits expected to open by this fall. I spoke to bird keeper Debbie Denton about the new attraction.
We are at Cape Fynbos, which is the southernmost part of Africa Rocks, our new expansion. And we are at the penguin exhibit.
And so talk to me about how significant it is that this exhibit is opening up after 2 years.
Yeah, this is a great step forward. We're so proud to be able to be the first part of the entire Africa Rocks area to open up, be able to show off our penguins. We have these guys here with the specific purpose of breeding them for conservation initiatives in the future. So we're so happy. It's a brand new exhibit. It's one of the largest penguin pools of its kind. And what's so unique about it is the penguins actually have roommates that are leopard sharks.
And how does that work out to have them sharing the space?
Well, you know, there's always concerns when you introduce 2 species that haven't lived together before. So there was a little bit of concern, we wanted to make sure that they got along really well. The penguins are not afraid of the sharks. The sharks don't eat the penguins, so that wasn't the big concern. It was just, we wanted to make sure that they were peacefully coexisting and they both use both sides of our gigantically large pool.
And there's a conservation element to this as well. Can you talk about just the fact that they're a threatened species?
Yes, our scientists have noticed that their numbers have decreased dramatically since the year 2000. They have lots of challenges in their natural environment. One of them is that areas that they normally nest in is harvested and used as fertilizer, so they can't burrow underground in safe burrows anymore. Another challenge that they have is that their food sources are being overfished in that area, so they'll eat a natural diet of anchovies and sardines, and the fisheries down there are very active. We've seen that their numbers have decreased dramatically down to 23,000 breeding pairs, down from nearly 100,000 in the year 2000. So there's lots of challenges that they're facing in the wild populations, and San Diego Zoo is part of a global initiative to increase numbers in zoos in the case that we may need to supplement their wild population numbers in the future.
So obviously the penguins have a special place in your heart, but can you tell us about some of the other animals that will make up Africa Rocks?
Absolutely. We have 8 acres worth of exhibitry to open up in the future. We have 6 different bioclimatic zones that are going to be represented in Africa Rocks. Those zones are going to be filled with animals like vervet monkeys, hamadryas baboons. There's going to be an exhibit with different types of lemurs. Our next exhibit to open is a dwarf crocodile. We've just got honey badgers and fossa. So this area is going to be highlighting lesser known species in Africa. Everyone knows about the flagship species, the elephants, the giraffes, the rhinos. We're concentrating on the smaller, lesser known animals of Africa.
For generations, it's put smiles on children's faces. Now, Friends of Balboa Park has announced the historic park Carousel is here to stay. The organization just bought the landmark and is working to raise $3 million to maintain and restore it. Today, the campaign kicked off with a free family day in the park. Kids and adults alike take a whirl around the carousel on the back of a hand-carved wooden horse, zebra, or even a unicorn.
I like how they go fast and like how there's a bunch of animals.
Tuesday was a day of fun and fundraising at Balboa Park. Friends of Balboa Park is an organization that cites a goal of preserving the park's legacy for future generations. Its latest project is the Carousel, that's been part of the park's fabric since 1922, after it was relocated from Coronado. For more than 100 years, the children's favorite has been privately owned. KPBS anchor Sally Hickson's family acquired the Carousel when she was a child.
I grew up on this merry-go-round, and while my mother worked in the ticket box, I played here. I played in the museums. The museums were free. The zoo was free for kids. Balboa Park was my playground for many years, and it's touching to know that it's still going to be here.
The most recent owners, the Steen family, sold the Carousel to Friends of Balboa Park. The nonprofit says at a rate below market value. Now it's looking for the public support to raise $3 million to restore and maintain the Carousel through 2020 for San Diego kids to continue to enjoy.
It makes you dizzy, and dizziness is fun.
The Einstein of the ocean is getting a street named after him here in San Diego. Oceanographer Walter Monk gained support from city leaders today who voted to name a road after him. Monk helped found UC San Diego and made his mark by assisting troops during World War II. With weather forecasts, the road will stretch across the boardwalk in La Jolla, where he performed many experiments. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.